21 questions written by Boitumelo Mutupi and illustrated by Subi Bosa. Once upon a time, there was a girl who loved asking questions. Why? Where? When? How? What? Who? When everyone grew sick and tired of all her questions, the girl decided to search for the answers elsewhere, in books, and before long she started telling her own stories. This is an empowering story about the power of books and stories and is also available in Zulu, Setswana, and Afrikaans.
One of the genres that I enjoy writing the most is definitely children's poetry. I love writing funny, entertaining poems for kids that will hopefully teach them from a young age that poetry is something that you can enjoy and that you don't have to be scared of. Now, my newest collection of poetry is this bright yellow book called Elstagne Opio. And in this collection, you'll find more than 50 poems about weird and wacky stuff like parents turning into zombies. There's a poem about your homework flying away. There's even a very gross poem about chicken poo pie. So all of these poems are meant to make kids laugh and to entertain them. And there's also a bonus poem in this book. At the back you'll see there's a poem written in icing sugar. But be warned, you have to keep this book away from ants. That's a running joke throughout this book. I really hope you're going to enjoy Elstagne Opio.
Die meisie met die uitroeptekens in haar oë is a collection of short stories for teenagers. This anthology features meeting stories from established authors such as Jaco Jacobs, Zelda Bezuidenhout, Refilwe Moaghludi, and Sally Partridge, as well as new voices such as Clifford E. Norton and Mercy Kannemeyer. There is romance, wit, shock and surprise, and mostly happy endings. The stories are rich in diversity, featuring a variety of characters, identities, and settings.
Know my name. La Zika Malam, Dismay Nam. I have so much to say about this book for so many reasons. It has been a journey, a beautiful journey to get to this, my first middle grade novel. So I've been promising for so long that I'll write for older kids, and now I have. Very, very excited about this. And just starting with the title, the names that we are given are an intention. It's one of the first bits of intention that a parent, a caregiver, whoever names a child, it's the first bit of intention that they send off into the universe. And you can imagine how many times we say a child's name, right? Refil. That name is an intention. So I've always known of that importance. But recently my aunt shared how my grandfather used to say that how we need to be wise about how we choose our children's names. So I used that concept as an overarching theme of this book and this series, essentially. With Know My Name, Rorisang and Morena are experiencing the world anew. And we get to see how, particularly in this first book, how we need to be wise about how we choose our children's names. So I used that concept as an overarching theme of this book and this series, essentially. With Know My Name, Rorisang and Morena are experiencing the world anew. And we get to see how, particularly in this first book, how Rorisang and her name plays out in her everyday life. This is really just us following the everyday lives of these 11-year-old children. But as we follow, we get to see how that name and the power that it holds plays out in her life. I'm very excited about this book, and I hope you are too, and I hope you are for our children, something extra to add to the library, to add into our schools. So I hope you enjoy it in the language of your choice with the 3 options that you have. I hope you enjoy it as much as we And by we, I mean the team behind bringing it to you, with me, the illustrator, and the publisher. A lot of work went into this, and I hope, I hope it's enjoyed, and I hope that the message resonates. Thank you. And the translators, a big part of the team, I have to mention them. For Afrikaans, Yaku Jacobs translated Know My Name to Dismay Naam, did an absolutely magic job as per usual. And for isiZulu, Mpumi Njobe translated Know My Name to Lazi. Kamalam.
When You Dream by Daniela van Heerden and Megan Werner is the English translation of the very successful As Jy Droom that was published earlier this year. Every great dream starts with a dreamer. Megan's dream is to build a light aircraft with other teenagers and fly it from Cape Town to Cairo. Her aim is to inspire children in other African countries to follow their dreams. In 2018, 20 inexperienced teenagers from various backgrounds were provided with hands-on experience in engineering and building an aircraft. They assembled the Sling 4 aircraft from start to finish within 3 weeks under the guidance and supervision of a group of senior engineers. When they eventually take to the air more than a year later, 17-year-old Megan and her co-pilots undertake a journey full of adventure and nail-biting moments. They fly over war-torn Sudan, and in Egypt they almost land in jail after officials refuse to give them permission to fly over Kenya. But at last the triumphant team reaches Cairo, just for tragedy to strike a few days later while they are on their way back to South Africa. Megan's father and his co-pilot die when their support plane crashes near Tanzania. Megan, however, refuses that her dream be compromised by this tragedy. Her dad would not have wanted that. After writing her exams, she and 2 of her co-pilots retrieve their plane and complete the flight back to South Africa. When You Dream is based on true events and is a story of courage, commitment, hope, and pain. An adrenaline-filled adventure that might sound far-fetched if it wasn't for the fact that all of it is true.
Last year, with the coronavirus pandemic and the start of the hard lockdown in South Africa, one of the most upsetting things for me personally was seeing bookshops closed. You know, walking past your favorite bookstore, seeing the doors locked with no customers inside. And that was the inspiration for my book, Die Boekwinkel Tussen die Wolke, also available in English as The Bookshop in the Clouds. In short, it's the story of Ella, a little girl who loves books and who's especially fond of a certain quirky little bookshop that she frequently visits. And then Ella discovers that she has a talent. She's actually a book whisperer, someone who has a special bond with books and can communicate with books in a fantastical way. And really, this book is my tribute to booksellers everywhere. Booksellers have such a wonderful opportunity to be able to connect readers and books. And in a certain sense, this story was my way of saying thank you to all the booksellers who over the years have introduced me to wonderful books and have played a role in making my readers meet my books.
#Happy is a YA dramedy about a girl who becomes addicted to the internet in her pursuit to fit in and find love and happiness. It's set in a rehab in Simonstown, and it flashes back to the events that got her there. It explores themes of addiction and all that YA love stuff in a world where selfies have somehow become more important than human connection. My career as a YouTuber certainly inspired me to write this novel, and I'm known for sharing humorous yet very honest stories, so this just felt like a natural next step. Why should you stock this book? Well, it's pretty rare for teens to be able to read a story like this that's set in their own country and not America, and is written by somebody like me who has such an extensive background in YouTube and social media. I have first-hand experience of all this stuff. And I also spent time in a rehab center learning about addiction, so the story would not only be entertaining, but also very important for teenagers to read. This is obviously a huge step in my career, so I'm going to make a lot of noise about it on social media. And I'm going to give my audience a reason to buy this book. So I do hope that you have enough stock.
I'm sure many of you will remember from your childhood days that moment when you discover a book that you love so much that you simply can't put it down. You know, you even take the book along to school to secretly read in class. Now, the very, very funny book, also available in Afrikaans as Die Baie Baie Snaakse Boek, is a story about Miss Hippo's class. Where the kids in class are going about their everyday business, but one kid keeps disrupting the lesson because he keeps giggling. It's little hyena. And Miss Hippo is getting a bit fed up with this boy who's disrupting everything, and she wants to know what he's laughing about. And then she discovers that hyena is secretly reading a book, a very, very funny book. I had so much fun writing this story because my publisher had a great idea. She actually decided we can put a smaller book inside this picture book. So kids reading the book can actually read a second book containing the book that Hyena is reading. As I said, this was very, very great fun developing and writing, and I hope that kids are going to have as much fun with this book.
Sanbonani, Dumelang. Hello, my name is Refilo Moatlidi and I am the author of the latest We Are One, which is all about exploring the beautiful nature of Ubuntu. The next offering, You Are Loved, I would like to think is a continuation of that. In expressing kindness, we're expressing love. And what this goes into is more on the vocal expression of love. So from generation to generation, love has been experienced in different ways, and love is expressed in different ways. This book addresses how necessary it is to vocalize that feeling, because when human beings communicate, there are a lot of assumptions involved. So I may be doing something for you or with you because I love you, and assume you would know that I actually love you, right? I am, in my doing, I'm expressing love the way that I understand it. What the vocalization of it does, it brings our different experiences together. When I say it out loud, our understanding can be better matched.